Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. And I wanted to respond to this video. It was sent into the chat by the elder brother Mike Allah. And as you can see here, it's titled "The Secret Family That Controls All the Food You Eat." All right, as the scriptures say, the Lord will pour his spirit out on all flesh for the purpose of things being exposed. The Holy Spirit has been placed upon the two witnesses, the prophets. All right, but you have that third witness in the form of, all right, the working class of America and of this beast system, who are going to raise up and expose particular things that the Lord puts the Spirit on them to bring out. And what's happening is this Edomite is losing the information war, which is why they're getting ready to pull the plug on this internet thing. This is why we have to constantly feed the sheep with the tools necessary to build their faith up, all right, so that they can be rooted, all right, in the faith. Okay, so this particular channel, as you can see the name of it, goes into a lot of the evils of these secret families and these corporations that run this world. As the scriptures say, Esau would have the fatness of the earth, the dew of heaven from above, and he would rule by the sword. All right, and with that, the curse of us going to our enemies for all things, and the fact that they have control over the food, all right, is detrimental, and one reason we should be crying to Yahweh Bashim Shai for a kingdom, because even if you grow your own foods, all right, which that's possible, all right, the soil's all jacked up, the air is all jacked up, the seeds are all jacked up, there's chemicals everywhere, and ultimately you can do the best, all right, to make sure you're eating the proper things, okay, staying away from processed foods, eating, more plants. But even the plants are tainted. The soil is tainted. The environment is tainted. All right. So though we do the best, we eat the best of the worst. And the scripture said that our food will be defiled amongst the Gentiles. This is just something that we have to go through. All right. But we do the best, overall. We need Yahweh Shai. Okay? We need Yahweh Shai. As a matter of fact, all right, because not having control, all right, of the food you eat, not knowing where it came from, not knowing, how the cattle is slaughtered, not having control over, what God, because all of these things are offered to idols. Everything that we eat, everything, all right, is food sacrificed unto idols, man. You see, when you go back to our ancient forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, even Job, before he was smitten, all right, and many more, they all had control over their food. They had cattle, all right. If they were eating meat, if they were eating plants, it came from their own crops, all right, from their own, vineyards. If they were drinking wine, they knew where it came from. They knew how the particular, lawful animals that they ate were sacrificed. What God, was, in the name of what God, they were sacrificed. All right, going back to the ancient world. And we have to understand that the foods that are readily available to the Israelites here in this system of Edomite supremacy are all tainted. Okay, the music is all tainted, and it's all prayed over in the name of foreign gods and Satan. All right. As a matter of fact, real quick, brothers have been speaking on this, and this is crazy. Even the Oreo cookie. You may think that sounds crazy. Even the Oreo cookie in itself, something we grew up eating. Now, I haven't eaten these things in decades, but something we grew up eating. We had no idea, all right, of the symbolism that was on this cookie. Check this out. That's the Leviathan cross in Satanism. And brothers have done videos on it, but this just goes to show you, all right, that all of these foods that we're eating, all of these companies that run this system, a lot of people are speaking on it. Okay, and the corporations that produce these things are ultimately all satanic. All right, and that ultimately fulfills the prophecy that we would eat our bread defiled amongst the Gentiles. Okay, that's one of the curses. All right, and one of the things that we undergo every day, even when we think we're eating the best. Okay, it's all tainted, and it does not meet the standard, all right, of what we would eat, you know, if we were in the right situation. You know, once we're sovereign, all right, and the kingdom of heaven set up, all right, we will never have to go through these atrocities again. And I want to read this, Psalms 44:11. It says, "Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood." All right. Rid me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. Your right hand represents your righteousness. Okay. Even when they're talking as if they're trying to help you. All right. There's abominations. Okay. In his mind. You see, this man is the complete devil. And the prayer here is to rid me and deliver me from the hand of these strange children. We're starting to figure out how strange and weird and crazy these Edomites are, right? And their mouths speaketh vanity. We're starting to hear the boastings of the NWO, this fourth industrial revolution, all right, the climate situation to where they're going to have to create new foods and get more control over the food. They're hoarding all of the land and the resources to themselves. So we're going to need the Lord, right? It says, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. Okay? Everything that these devils do, everything that's coming out of this system is deception, even when it sounds like it's for the people. As a matter of fact, Proverbs 26:24 says, "He that dissembleth with his lips and layeth up deceit within him." All right? It says, "When he speaketh fair, believe him not." All right, even with this situation surrounding this, freedom movie, which I hear YouTube is now taking videos down and mention it, all right, because it's making the MAPs, the minor attracted people, uncomfortable, protecting those people. This devil got too much going on, man. But anyway, when he speaketh fair, believe him not. For there are 7 abominations in his mind. Heart is mind in the Hebrew. Okay? Whoso hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. And that happens within Israel, but it's happening to these Edomites. Okay, his wickedness is being showed, all right, before all the congregation. And the leadership, the men of the Lord, are supposed to speak on these things, man. But for some reason, the majority of Israelites are silent on Esau. Okay, whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth the stone, it will return on him. And this is where the Edomites are. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. It's NLT, this one. It says, a lying tongue hates its victims, and a flattering word causes ruin. And Esau, Edom has done nothing but lie, steal, kill, rape, rob, murder, poison. I did a video on the DuPont family and how they created those Teflon, non-stick pots that has poisoned, all right, humanity. All right, the chemicals that's in the food, the waters, everything, all right, is ultimately a means of just destroying people, man. This dude is completely out of his damn mind, man, and he must be stopped. So it says here, Psalms 44:11, rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood, that our sons may be as plants, all right, grown up in their youth, that our daughters may be as cornerstones polished after the similitude of a palace, that our garners may be full, okay, our own cattle, all right, affording all manner of store. See, and in the kingdom, we're going to lend to the heathen. They're going to have to come to us for the want of all things. Here in this society, under Esau's world, we have to go to them and want of all things. Okay, even if you're, so say, growing your own, all right, where are you going to get the seeds from? All right, when you deal with soil, where are you going to get that from? Esau, Edom has control of the earth via prophecy. See, you can try your hardest to go outside of his grip, all right, only to find out that somehow, some way, he's there. Okay? It says that our garners may be full, affording all manner of store, that our sheep may bring forth thousands and 10,000 in our streets. That's what we want, man. Our forefathers had control of their food. That's what we're going to get into. We don't have control of our food here in this society. We're under a curse. We have nothing to boast in. We should be laboring and toiling to get the hell up out of here. That our oxen may be strong to labor, that there be no breaking in nor going out. Okay, and that there be no complaining in our streets. This is what we want. Okay, control over our food. All right, no threats of anyone breaking in, no complaining. That's how it's going to be for the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven. Happy is that people that is in such case. Yea, happy is that people whose God is Yahweh. And he's the God of who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel. That's in the book of Luke. Okay, so going back here, let's play this video. The secret family that controls all the food you eat.
Deep in the heart of Wayzata, Minnesota, lies one of the biggest family dynasties in America, except you've never heard of their name. This family dynasty made more money last year than Coca-Cola, Nestle, and Chevron combined. In fact, they're the largest private company in the US, and this single company controls a massive share of your food supply. They're responsible for supplying food for some of the biggest brands out there, like McDonald's, Burger King, Kellogg's, Mars, Dunkin' Donuts, Unilever, Safeway, Kroger, Albertsons, Audi, Tesco, and many, many more.
Because you'll say, well, I don't eat McDonald's. Well, I don't either. But you go to these grocery stores, right? Well, you say, well, I'm not going to go to Kroger. I'm going to go to Whole Foods. Well, the devil controls that. Okay? I'm going to go to the, you can go to the local, central markets and, stuff like that. Okay? And the stuff is better. All right? But overall, it's still tainted. All right? See, we don't want halfway okay. We want 100% righteousness to be set up on the planet Earth. Everything is tainted here. And it's affecting, all right, brothers and sisters, more and more. This food is affecting me. I can feel it, which is why I have to implement fasting more the older I get. This food bothers me. It may not bother certain people as much as it bothers others, but it's starting to bother me more and more when you consume this food. You have to stay away from particular things that you even like, that are even lawful, because of what the devil is doing to it, especially that damn chicken, man. As much as I love it, okay, they're doing something to that damn bird because they know that's what Jake eats. All right. So we got to get the hell up out of here, man. Your enemy has control of your food. See? And if this devil was not to be stopped, no flesh would be saved. Let's get that real quick. And notice it said this is a private corporation. This is a private thing. All right? Which means the scrutiny that, they would have to go through if it was public, they can just, kind of tiptoe out of the way and do all of this evil and wickedness. All right? Because as you're going to see, they got, called out for the child labor that they use. Oh, my goodness, man. You'll see. Mark 13:20, except the Lord have shortened those days, which is why you're noticing these days, weeks, months, and years are going by faster and faster and faster. That's prophecy. Except that the Lord have shortened those days, no flesh should have been saved, but for the elect's sake, whom he have chosen, the Lord have shortened the days, and the days are being shortened. It said, in fact, unless the Lord shortens that time of calamity, which this is a time of calamity. I know it's going to get worse, but we're already in times that are worse than any other time. Only to get worse, it says, no flesh would be saved, but for the elect's sake, whom he chose, the Israelites, he shortened the days. Right? Let's go to this word flesh. No flesh will be saved. When you look at what they're doing, what they're putting in people, it's all manipulating and changing their internal genetic makeup. Okay, their plan is to ultimately create a new human with all of this technology and what they're doing. To do away with the Lord's creation so that they can what? Run from their destiny. See? If there's no true physical descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob because they've created their own species, they win. This is how far they're trying to go with it. The word is sarx, flesh, all right? The soft substance of the living body which covers the bones. They're trying to change it in both man and beast. They're manipulating the makeup of these animals. Okay, they're genetically modifying the plants. And people don't realize how absolutely dangerous that is. Okay, when you hear about Monsanto, which that's just one of millions of companies that secretly control the food and poison and put toxins every goddamn where, man. Okay? Body, the human body, the natural physical origin, generations. See, we're a generation of Israelites. See? Born of natural generation, the sensual nature of man, of animal nature. He's trying to change all of these things. Okay? So if this man ain't stopped, all right, ultimately Esau, Edom, his plan, as we always go into it, is to create a new form of human. Right? So this is why we're praying for the Lord to rid. When we say the so-called white man is the devil, when we say the Edomites got to be taken out of power, when we say their seed line is going to be obliterated, we're not just saying that out of some hateful niggas who are mad about slavery. It's deeper than that. You see? And the deeper and deeper we get into the understanding of this truth, now we know. Like, shit. Because when we first came in, I always say that we was just kind of parroting and saying, well, the white man's the devil. But now that we are learning righteousness, we're like, oh, damn. Whoa.
Look in your kitchen right now, and you're gonna find a ton of food made by this secret mega corporation. From cocoa powder to cooking oil, salt, sugar, eggs, meat, but you won't find their name on any of these labels. Most of you have never even heard of this name before. That's because this American dynasty has worked very hard to keep it that way. They don't want you to know what they're doing behind their factory doors. Because if you ever found out, you would never buy their food products again. It's that bad. What is the name of this family, you ask? Cargo.
Esau.
Eating processed food from companies like Cargill is a surefire way to shorten your life. But fortunately, longevity researchers like David Sinclair have recently made some promising discoveries on how to mitigate or even slow down aging altogether. Cargill may have started out as a single shack on the side of the road, but today they're a whole lot bigger. Cargill is the largest...
You seen those ships, right? All right, that's how the scriptures speak to how Babylon, all right, would, trade by sea, through their traffic, all right, which they traffic a lot of things, but through their traffic, they've gotten riches and control and are able to win, all right?
Private company in the US. And if they were public, they would be ranked number 15 on the Fortune 500 list, just in front of AT&T. And Cargill has its fingers in almost every pie imaginable, from grain...
And that's another thing. Don't get caught up in this richest man in the world talk. Esau puts that out there, all right, to make you to believe. No, you'll never know who the richest man or family on the earth is. They're all working together. They're all the devil. They have the fatness of the earth. There's no such thing as a richest man, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. They're low on the totem pole in the grand scheme of things. These are just people that they put before you to make you to believe that, no, the people who really control this world, all right, and this is true supremacy. I put that in the title of the lesson. This is true supremacy. This is why no Israelite could ever be a supremacist in the system of Edomite supremacists, because these people are supreme over you through stuff like this. This is the control they have. You don't have this kind of control to control the quality of the food, the air, the water, the education, what makes, the airwaves as far as the radio and the music, the frequency of the music that's put out there. You don't have that kind of control. See? They do.
To livestock, to palm oil and coca, to metals, animal feed, energy, and even hedge funds. Their total revenue in 2021 was $135 billion, which is...
See, what you feed your animals, what you feed your cattle, what you feed your dogs, they got control over all of that too. But what you feed the animals that you eat, all right, what you got particular Israelites who say, the Messiah was vegan, we're not supposed to eat meat. Well, in the law, it gives you the particular meats, all right, that we can eat. All right. Now, is it wise to stay away from those particular things in this system to the best of your ability and not eat them as much? Yes. Okay. But to teach, if you don't eat meat, that's on you, but to teach that as a doctrine and say that, basically you're wicked and you're going to hell, look, man, stop. Goodness gracious, man. You actually had Jake say, if you eat meat, you going to hell. Niggas are out of control. Everybody, the niggas, Edomites, heathen, all of these people have to be stopped. All right?
This is almost double the amount of what other big agricultural companies like ADM, Bunge, and Dreyfus made that year. In fact, this makes Cargill bigger than the entire GDP of Morocco. But if you wanted to buy some Cargill shares, you would be fresh out of luck, because Cargill doesn't want your peasant money. It is not worth it to them. Cargill has purposely remained a private company. For a lot of companies, going public on the stock market is the dream. But Cargill knows that if they went public, they would have to report everything to the shareholders, which would expose them to a lot of public scrutiny. But for
how ironic, a company that controls most of the food you eat is private. The Federal Reserve. Who controls that? Private. You see? Because ultimately it's the elites of Esau, Edom who run all of these things. And in these times they will be revealed.
Or what? It's not like they need the money. They already secretly control the food industry. There's a reason why their name doesn't ring a bell. Why? Well, you can't boycott something you don't know about, right? And there's a lot to boycott about.
And these people don't care about boycotts. They'll settle. They'll settle. All right, let's give $1 billion. They got enough money to where they can be like, let's settle $1 billion settlements and just pay them all out, and they're still good. They don't give a damn. When Esau get caught, you hear about these settlements, the millions and dollars that they give out in these settlements. All right, is only 1% of the income that they're getting annually. They don't give a damn. Notice you don't see no niggas, no Israelites running these things. These are Edomites, because this is biblical prophecy being fulfilled. Esau would have the fatness of the earth. That's a biblical prophecy that now that the truth is coming out, everybody wants to have a say-so on who Esau is, Christians, because they don't want the truth of the matter to come out.
When you own an agriculture business, you're at the constant whims of nature. Droughts, floods, global shortages of seeds, all of that can be a very serious threat to your main moneymakers. What if your primary food export suddenly dried up one day? And that was the exact position Cargill found themselves in 1997 during the Asian financial crisis. See, at the time, Cargill was sourcing a lot of its crops from the Philippines, Taiwan, Indonesia, and Korea. But when Asia fell into a financial crisis, it caused a lot of the agriculture producers Cargill was buying from to close down. Suddenly, Cargill couldn't get soy, wheat, and corn from these countries at the same prices they were before. So Cargill ended up losing $4 billion, which at the time was the equivalent of 8 years of profit for them. It was one of...
You lose $4 billion and you still in business, gives you the understanding on the power these people have.
Cargill's biggest losses to date, and it plunged them into debts. Understandably, the Cargill family panicked. So they shook up management and put a new guy in charge to hopefully lead them back to the promised land. And the man they chose to do that was Warren Stolley.
Esau.
One of Cargill's most loyal employees that had been working there since 1969. And when Warren Stolley stepped up as the head of Cargill, he did in fact lead them back to the promised land, but at a huge cost. Cargill needed to dig themselves out of that $4 billion pit, and since one of their most lucrative crops was coca, they went on the hunt for an ultra-cheap source, and they eventually found it on the Ivory Coast. During the 90s, children were being trafficked from Mali into the Ivory Coast for slave labor. These kids weren't being paid, they were barely fed, they were physically abused.
You see who they have children doing this, and this is secretly happening all over the world. Right? Right now, all right, there's a child somewhere, all right, in forced labor, right? And it's been known, Nestle and all of these various different companies and corporations, this is what they do. And when they get called out, they get caught, you know, they'll send some sort of PR rep to condemn the action, and you'll think that, you know, something is being done about it, but no, nothing's being done about it, man. Check this out.
Used and were basically held hostage on these farms. One child slave came forward saying that they were forced to spray pesticides on coca crops without any protective clothing. Others say that they were whipped with branches and left in solitary confinement. According to other reports, children who tried to escape were forced to drink urine as punishment. Others say that their feet were cut open and pepper will be rubbed into their wounds. But the benefit of all this child labor is that these farms were able to produce extremely cheap coca. So companies like Nestle,
you see that? See, Nestle,
Hershey, Mars, and Cargill put their orders in as fast as possible. In 2005, the International Labor Rights Fund found out about Cargill's connection to these slave camps and filed a lawsuit against them. As of today, the case still hasn't been resolved. And since then, Cargill has just continued growing their coca business. In 2018, Cargill put together a plan.
See, they'll put something in the news like a lawsuit is being filed, like somebody's doing something about it. You know, but they all in the same gang, man. They just put that out there for theater. They put that out there for you people to see on the news. All right, something's being done about it. Ain't nothing being done about the evils and atrocities that this devil is doing. This is why we need true justice. All right. And that's going to come from the throne of David, man. All right. Under who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, man. All right. Let's get this real quick. The book of Isaiah. Let's just type in justice and see what comes up. Isaiah, the 9th chapter, speaking of Yahweh Shai, of the increase of his government, all right, shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon the kingdom. All right, that's the kingdom of heaven. Everybody's talking about who can be saved. The salvation is the throne of David under Yahweh Shai, the second covenant, new bodies, eternal life. That's for the Israelites. Okay, yeah, there will be heathen who will be, reserved, that won't be destroyed in the, World War III and the destruction by the chariots. There's going to be heathen who are left, but that's not salvation, because their asses is going right into captivity. All right, and they will be forced to learn the laws of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. After that 1,000-year period, when Esau's done, the heathen will have some form of rest and be able to just enjoy our righteous kingdom as long as they keep the laws. But they ain't going to be, salvation is for the Israelites. Of the increase of his government, there should be no end upon the throne of David. All right. And upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and justice from henceforth even forever. Let's look up the Hebrew word for justice. I don't think I've ever looked that word up. The zeal of Yahweh will perform this. Okay, do you believe that? Because you got Israelites who will come to a video, man, the heathen could be saved. All right, nigga, we'll see. Being preserved, all right, and being left is different from being saved. Is to be brought up into that secret chamber, the chariot. The word for justice, look at the Hebrew wording. They call halal Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for victory over the beast, his image and his mark. Look at that. 4 6s. 4 is mercy. Mercy from Esau, saved from this strange bastard, man. But it's pretty much the word tazadak, or tazadak. All right, tazadaka. Righteousness, basically, justice, righteousness, and government. See, the government of this world is completely wicked. All right, and is being found out. So the true justice ain't gonna come from people of this system being sued by. You don't get true justice that way. Even if you get a little payout, that's not true justice. The whole system of Edomite supremacy needs to be crushed and stopped. This ain't no small thing, but check this out, and then we'll get some scriptures and close it out as we finish this video. And I have it sped up, so if you want to go watch it on your own, you see the title on the page there. He does some good videos.
To expand their coca storehouses in Abidjan, a city in the Ivory Coast. In 2019, they invested $113 million into coca processing plants in both the Ivory Coast and Ghana, while at the same time, they keep saying they're against child labor in the press. With coca on lockdown, now cargo just needed some cheap land.
He's all in Ghana, and the puppet leaders over there will let him come over there and pretty much, put more children into those crazy conditions and situations for cheap labor and just win and ball out. They have the monetary means to go throughout the planet Earth and win. Okay? This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. All over the earth. He's everywhere. See? You like, I'm gonna move to Ghana. Esau got presence over there. The Moab, all of them. But I will say, if I wasn't in this truth, I would get the hell out of Babylon. I would leave. I wouldn't be here. All right. But if you a wicked nigga, no matter where you go, if the Lord wants to judge your ass, you're gonna be judged. Who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. That's what he's doing. And now we're at a time where this is happening. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth in that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, that debt. See, we're living in a time where there's a parable being taken up against Esau, Edom. A shameful spewing. He's being called out, which is why we have access to videos like this. See? And YouTube is pretty much, all right, a platform where they're, taking videos down. But the Lord is still allowing, the word to go out. He's still allowing videos like this and, particular other videos to be put up. But you go to, platforms like Brighton or Brighton, okay, and various, Odyssey, which they've been bought up by Google, and there's various other platforms, okay, where just Esau is being exposed. His own kind is exposing him. Okay? That's the working class. The scriptures talks about that in the book of Job. All right? There's a parable being taken up against him. Okay? Let's get that real quick to show you what I'm talking about. Let's go back there. Job 20 and 22, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. And they are in straits because they're getting caught. That's why they're having all these councils. They're trying to hurry up with this plan. And every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When you look up this word wicked, Imal is the laborer, the sufferer, the wretched one, the working class. And the working class of Esau, Edom, who really thought that America was some sort of glory, and they gloried in this whole image of being white and, white supremacy. And now that, things are going left, look, who do you see on all of these platforms cursing out the powers that be? You mostly see Edomites. The working class Edomite, even if some of them got a few millions in their pocket, they're working. They're the working class. And they're coming up against the leaders. All right. Jane Fonda threatens to shut down it. Like, E is coming up against E, which is a big part of prophecy. Their own tongues are falling upon themselves. All right. This guy, the health ranger, Mike Adams, recently did a video with Dave Hodges, which I watch Dave Hodges videos. All right. You go over to these platforms and, people are rebelling against this crap. People are like, oh, this is too much. Calling out their these Edomite Christians are now seeing that the MOTB is on the horizon. They're exposing these things. But meanwhile, you got Israelites just sitting back. All right, as if nothing is happening. So when he's about to fill his belly, the Lord has pretty much put a dent in his plan by all of this information coming out. All right, in preparation for his judgment, because Esau, Edom thinks he's in control, but what they're going to find out is that they're not in control. Things are going to go slip out of their hands, man.
Cargill's main business is storing and processing crops, so obviously they need cheap land to grow cheap crops on. Ideally, the land should be free. So to get their hands on some free land, Cargill got involved with land grabbing in the late 2000s.
Land
Land grabbing sounds exactly like what you think it is. In 2011, one of Cargill's palm oil suppliers sent a fleet of security guards to open fire on a nearby Indonesian village. The reason? A villager apparently stole a piece of palm fruits, which may or may not have been true. So in response, the guards evicted 100 people from their homes and bulldozed the entire village to the ground. Coincidentally, that land provided the perfect canvas for a new field of palm fruits.
And they do this all over the world. They'll create a false narrative. They stole this, they did that, and then they'll just move in and bomb and rape, rob, murder, burn, and then they'll set up shop. Okay, Micah, the second chapter, in the first verse. Woe to them, all right, that devise iniquity, and you had Israelite leaders, all right, who were doing this, right? But this now falls upon you Edomites. Okay? Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. All right, as the scriptures say, wisdom is double. All right, and the scriptures talks about how all of the curses that we underwent would fall upon the wicked, Esau. Okay? It says, because it is in the power of their hand. So they devise iniquity because they have the power to do it. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. So the various different nations who are rich in resources in these particular lands, all right, they're not benefiting from it because ultimately Esau, Edom, China does it. You know, this neo-colonization going on in Africa with China. You see, Esau and heathen actually control these various different resources, minerals, and they don't use these things in this land to help the earth. Okay, they're a parasite. They must be. They're a cancer. See, they oppress a man in his heritage. With the heritage is a way to live and a landmass, an inheritance. See, therefore, thus saith the Lord, against this family do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go heartily, for this time is evil. In that day, which we're in this time, one shall take up a parable against you and lament with the doleful lamentation and say, we be utterly spoiled. A lot of the African nations are saying this. All right? The Israelites, we're saying this. All right? First and foremost, he hath changed the portion of my people. How he hath removed it from me, turning away, he hath divided our fields. Still in one's land is wicked. Okay? You're worthy of death when you remove the landmark. This is what this devil has done all throughout the earth, man. So you're not going to be able to remove your neck from the judgment that's coming from what you did. Let's listen to this again.
Cargill's main business is storing and processing crops, so obviously they need cheap land to grow cheap crops on. Ideally, the land should be free. So to get their hands on some free land, Cargill got involved with land grabbing in the late 2000s. And yes, land grabbing sounds exactly like what you think it is. In 2011, one of Cargill's palm oil suppliers sent a fleet of security guards to open fire on a nearby Indonesian village. The reason? A villager apparently stole a piece of palm fruits, which may or may not have been true. So in response, the guards evicted 100 people from their homes and bulldozed the entire village to the ground. Coincidentally, that land provided the perfect canvas for a new field of palm fruits.
These niggas are crazy. Monsanto, they'll go and they'll sprinkle their Roundup Ready seeds, all right, on the crops of, you know, on the outskirts of the crops of these various different farmers, all right, and then they'll send, all right, their mafia. That's what they operate, like a mafia. They send their men and say, well, we found our seeds in your crops. Therefore, we own this. You stole from us. They're just complete demons. And they have the power to just silence people, pay them the money necessary to just get them to stop their farming and their crops, and they're able to what? Set up shop, and they plant these synthetic crops and seeds and everything else, man. And worldwide, they're able to control the food. Let's get the book of Joel, the first chapter. And why you have to ask yourself, why is this devil so against farming? Why is farming now the enemy when that's the standard way of how life has sustained itself, man? Which that goes back to the Levant region. Joel 1:15, alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and the destruction from the Almighty shall it come. As a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Is not the meat cut off before our eyes? Yea, joy and gladness from the house of our power. Is not the meat being cut off before your eyes? Okay, the food and meat that is readily available to us as Israelites, no matter, even if you're going to the healthy place, which the healthy spots do have better stuff, all right, but it's still tainted. All right, the seeds is rotten from under their clods. The garners are laid desolate. See, the barns are broken down. They're shutting down farming. All right, and hoarding all of these lands to themselves, and they create the food. They have control of the food. They're cutting out the middleman. All right, with this next shutdown, which is coming, all right, the middleman will be completely shut out, and all of the power and wealth will be given over into the elite, this whole communist ideology. All right, and they will ultimately be able to dictate what the poor have, the quality of it, what currency will be acceptable for you to buy it or sell, which is why they're getting ready to break down this system of paper money so that they can have control over every transaction. The barns are broken down. The corn is withered. How do the beasts groan? The herd of the cattle are perplexed, diseased. Okay, they don't even let these particular cattle naturally have sex. They have them locked in these stalls, all right, and all right, this is going to be a little graphic. They jack the particular beast off. They get the sperm and put it, all right, manipulate it and put it inside the woman beast. Okay? Complete demons. They mix and, manipulate the DNA. Like these people got to be stopped. All right? The cattle are perplexed because they have no pasture. Yea, the flocks of the sheep are made desolate. So this is why fire is coming. Okay? This is what these devils are doing. And this is just one secret family. Okay?
A few years later, cargo soy producers in Brazil were accused of sending a private security force into a nearby indigenous village. They smashed down doors, assaulted children, kicked pregnant women in the stomach, 7 indigenous people were shot, several women lost their babies, and what was all this violence for? Because one person from the tribe trespassed on company farmland. But if those indigenous people end up abandoning their homes because of this, conveniently these indigenous people never ended up coming back, so their land was up for grabs. It was turned into more farmland to produce even cheaper crops for cargo to buy up.
Wow. Let's get the book of Job. All right, and what Job says here, it seems that God ignores these things, but see, God is keeping track. Yahweh Shem Shai, there's no way these people are going to get away with this. All right, that's one of my comforts every day. I know, like, I don't get it. Like, when I go off, I know the Lord when he's dealing with my ass. So you mean to tell me Esau, with his level of iniquity and wickedness, all right, the justice and judgment ain't going to never somehow come up on his ass? He's just going to do this forever? He's just going to complete his plan, chip everybody, kill off the prophets, and create a new human and start everything over? All of the prophecies of the kingdom, none of that's going to happen? Job 24:1. Why, seeing the times are not hidden from the Almighty, do they that know him not see his days? Some remove landmarks. Let's read this in the NLT. Job, when you read Job, in Paul's writings in the NLT, which the NLT, you got to be careful being able to discern, but you'll get a more of an understanding through some of these conversations that Job was having. All right, it says, why doesn't the Almighty bring the wicked to judgment? Why must the godly wait for him in vain? All right, and this is Job's mindset as he's being afflicted. And Job, which means afflicted, is symbolic of the elects, it's symbolic of what happened to the nation of Israel. And this is our mindset. See, this is our mindset. We're like, damn, when the Lord go deal with this devil? Here it is. We love Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and we have to wait in vain. Job had to wait. Job was he was a top priest. He was, he was balling. He was rich, sacrificing. All right, he was the man, but he lost everything. That's what happened to us. The nation of Israel says some remove landmarks, they violently take away flocks and feed thereof. NLT, evil people steal land by moving the boundary markers. They steal livestock and put them in their own pastures. They drive away the ass of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox for a pledge. They turn the needy out of the way. The poor of the earth hide themselves together. This is what Esau's doing. See, the poor are pushed off the path. The needy must hide together for safety. We just saw an example of that. Although those were heathen that they raided, which it could be Israelites scattered everywhere, but this is what they do. Okay? Behold, let's see here. Man. It says, like wild donkeys in the wilderness, the poor must spend all their time looking for food, searching even for the desert, in the desert for food for their children. Oh, man, these grocery stores. They reap everyone his corn in the field, and they gather the vintage of the wicked. They harvest a field they do not own, and they glean in the vineyards of the wicked. So we have to glean, which glean was like a welfare system set up in our law, in our culture, to where, if you had a crop, you wouldn't take all of the, you would take the best, of course, but you would leave behind some for the poor. So this is basically how we have to live. We get the elite give us like the worst of the worst. Yeah, feed that to them niggas. Put this in their neighborhood. And they make sure whatever gets to your neighborhood, especially where Jake is heavily packed, is poisoned, tainted, expired, okay, toxic. All right. And we have to, gather it, I'm going to go fishing. The waters, they pollute the waters where you at. All of the food, the fish are filled of toxins and drugs. They cause the naked to lodge without clothing, and they have no covering in the cold. All right. They are wet with the showers of the mountains and embrace the rock for want of a shelter. They pluck the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge from the poor. This is what they go around the earth doing, man. They cause them to go naked without clothing. They take away the sheep from the hungry, all right, which make oils within her walls, and tread down their winepress and suffer thirst. So these places who are rich in resources and oils, and the Esau goes around the earth and destroys them. Right? Men groan out of the city, and the soul of the wounded cry out, and God layeth not folly to them. The Most High hasn't dealt with Esau yet. All right? They are of those that rebel against the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. The murderer rising with the light killeth the poor and needy, and is in the night is as a thief. He comes in the night. He creeps up on you. He would do that to the Gadites, man. When the men went out to war, he come and raid the women and children, man. Man, it was a bad chapter. The eye also of the adulterer waited for the twilight, saying, no eye shall see me, and disguiseth his face. This is what Esau does all throughout the world. In the dark they dig through houses which they had marked for themselves. In the daytime they know not the light. So they go throughout the earth just coveting, man, and stealing and killing, man, pillaging. Man. Yeah, ain't gonna be no more Edomite. Wow. Verse 20, Job 20:4-20. The womb shall forget him. The worm shall feed sweetly on him. He shall no more be remembered, and wickedness shall be broken as a tree. He evil entreated and barren, and bear it not, and do it not good to the widow. He hasn't done good to anybody. Okay? He draweth also the mighty with power. He riseth up, and no man is sure of life. God in his power drags away the rich. All right. They may rise high, but they have no assurance of life. Yeah, ultimately, you Edomites are going to lose. Though it be given him to be in safety, his blessing whereupon he rested, yet his eyes are upon all their ways. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all other, and cut off as the tops of the ear of the corn. So ultimately, you Edomites are going to be dealt with.
Sure, a land grab here and there is nice, but in the grand scheme of things, it just wasn't enough. Cargo needed way more land, and conveniently in 2004, a giant patch of natural rainforest the size of Hawaii was being cleared out of the Amazon rainforest.
They're going and just cutting down all of these trees. Do you know how detrimental that is to the world? The Amazon, what they call it, the lungs of the earth. These things were placed here for a reason. And look what he's doing. He's going and just cutting down all of these trees. I just saw an article where billions of trees were being cut down in a particular region of the earth, so that they can industrialize it and set up their corporations and pollute the earth. Let's get Isaiah 14 real quick. This is the devil, man. When we say this, and we're on those highways and the byways, they just look at us, oh, them niggas just complaining and all, get over it, nigga. No, our cry is different. Yeah, we're mad about what happened to us, but we also acknowledge that we're the source of why that happened to us. All right, but we're calling you devils out. You went too far. When you're taken down, this is the future. Isaiah 14:5, the Lord have broken the staff of the wicked, the king of Babylon. When you read in this chapter, the oppressor, the golden city of Babylon. You Edomites are tied to this. The Lord have broken the staff, the power. All right. When you look up this word staff, it represents rulership. And your rulership is getting ready to be broken because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. The kingdom is going to be translated to another. That's the book of Sirach, the 10th chapter. Okay. Company. The word is mata. Staff, rod, staff, branch, tribe, company led by chief with the staff. So ultimately, this goes to a chief, a ruler. So the Lord is taking away, all right, the rulership of you Edomites, man. And look how it describes you. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hinder it. The whole earth is at rest and at quiet, and they break forth into singing. This is what is going to happen when you Edomites are taken down. Yea, the fir tree rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, okay, which is a literal, the actual trees, okay, but people are known as trees. The elect are known as cedars and fir trees, all right? Fir trees pretty much live. They're year round. Like, that's the Christmas tree. That's why these heathen worshipped it, because during the winter it didn't die. It was known as the eternal tree. Well, that's speaking to the elect, but also literally on earth, the whole earth is going to rejoice when you are taken down. All right. And what are the trees going to say? Since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us. This word feller. Okay. And again, this is a symbolism of what he did to the elect, the nation of Israel, and literal in the sense of he really is going down around the earth just destroying. The word is karath, to cut down, okay, to eliminate, kill, okay. And what does he cut down? The trees. He's destroying the trees. But he also does it to the nations, man, starting with the Israelites. All right, the tree cutter. He's that feller, and and within this video, we're seeing it.
And what did they use this land for? Why, the most nutritious crop out there, soy. Soy was planted on these lands, and it was offered to foreign countries at dirt cheap prices, and Cargill made sure that they were first in line to buy. But you might remember that there was a whole eco-friendly movement that was starting to pick up during this time. Reusable water bottles, fair trade coffee, Save the Rainforest t-shirts, and they did not like what Cargill was up to. So Greenpeace launched their Save the Amazon campaign in 2006, and in response, Cargill publicly agreed to no longer purchase soy from the deforested lands in the Amazon. Cargill even received a special award in environmental leadership for this new agreement.
But you see what, you know, they ain't really stopped, and they should be like locked up. And see, this is what is going to see. You elites are going to be arrested, according to prophecy. You're going to be arrested. You're going to be gathered up out of those bunkers, because you're going to survive the nuclear destruction, and you're going to be arrested and put in pits, according to Isaiah the 24th chapter. See, you're able to flee away and wiggle out of judgment and, you know, do these little, you know, fundraiser events and, you know, send the speaker to say some sweet words and people think really something's being done. Nothing's being done. See?
But there was a loophole. Greenpeace didn't say anything about Cerrado, another lesser-known rainforest in Brazil that is still equally important. Cerrado contains 5% of the world's plant and animal species and 8 of Brazil's rivers. So instead of getting soy from the Amazon rainforest, Cargill just switched to getting soy from Cerrado, and no one was the wiser. While deforestation of the Amazon rainforest slowed down exponentially between 2008 and 2012, deforestation in Cerrado sped up. Fast forward to 2018, and Cerrado had lost 95,000 square kilometers of rainforest. That is 2/3 more than what was ever cleared in the Amazon. And the Amazon is 3 times the size, so a giant chunk of the Cerrado rainforest is now gone. So Greenpeace approached Cargill again and demanded that they stop exploiting Cerrado. In response, Cargill put on their best PR face. They didn't overtly agree to Greenpeace's demands and instead created a Cargill-branded soy action plan. This plan promised that $30 million would be put towards research for alternatives to growing crops on native lands. It sounded very noble.
They just got money to throw around and say, all right, we're sorry.
Well, very ambitious, like progress was actually being made, when in reality, this plan was as vague as can be. But it worked. After they presented this plan to the world, they just turned around and went straight back to buying soy from Cerrado. Cargill's argument against not buying soy from Cerrado is that if they moved out, someone else was just gonna move in. Like China, for example, who buys most of Brazil's soy. You wouldn't want to support China now, would you? We gotta keep supporting American jobs in the American economy. Today, Cargill is a huge company. They employ over 155,000 people worldwide. They handle 1/4 of the country's total grain exports. 20% of our beef and pork comes from their factories. 6 million tons of sugar is shipped by Cargill each year. And when you're this big making this much money, it can be easy to let things slip through the cracks.
Now it makes sense why everybody got cancer or everybody's sick, because these people are making sure that everything is polluted.
Year 2000, around 16 million pounds of sliced turkey processed by Cargill's Texas plant was recalled because it was contaminated with Listeria, a deadly bacteria. The meat caused 7 deaths, 3 stillbirths, and 29 illnesses across 10 American states. Later on that same year, a 3-year-old died from E. coli poisoning after eating beef that came from one of Cargill's processing plants. In 2009, more E. coli tainted burgers were sent out, this time causing a woman to become paralyzed from the waist down. Why does this keep happening? Because cargo has discovered an innovative way to save money on their meat processing costs. Here's how. Instead of using expensive cuts of meat to make your burgers, you want to use all those bits of meat and intestines that fall onto your factory floor. Just scoop all that up, soak it in some ammonia to kill the bacteria, throw it into a grinder, and out comes burger patties that cost 25% less. And sure, fecal matter may end up in there every now and then, especially if you're using intestines and all that good stuff. But as long as it's treated with bleach, and the animals are fed human-grade antibiotics to reduce infection, everything should be a-okay. Just package it up, and ship it out for the masses to consume.
Can't have a bunch of small players delivering such an important food source to the nation's consumers. You have to have larger companies that can do it cheaply and can keep costs down.
Which brings us to today. But you want to know what's even more sketchier than cargo? America's tap water. If you're drinking tap water in America right now, you gotta stop. Because not only is it filled with fluoride, but it's also filled with heavy metals, chemicals, bacteria, and guess what else? You know all those drugs that Americans take like birth control that's filled with hormones? Yeah, people pee those chemicals out, it gets flushed down, that wastewater gets sent to a water treatment plant, but most of these treatment plants in America don't have the capability to filter out chemicals like that, so it gets sent straight back to your tap. That means every time you're drinking from the tap, every time you're showering, you are getting an entire cocktail of these things straight into your body. And we expose it all in our new documentary on tap water on our other channel, Evil Food Supply, that you can watch right now by clicking the card on the screen. Click the card on the screen to watch now.
Yeah, this will be another one that I'll watch. Then you say, well, I'm not going to drink the water. You know, well, you take showers, right? Your skin is an open, you know, the pores, you know. That's why what you put on your skin is important, you know. But let's end it off here in Habakkuk. Goodness gracious, man. Habakkuk 2 and 15. Woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look upon their nakedness. These philosophies, the food, the water, the way that people are behaving has a lot to do, you know, with that jab, you know, with the foods, with the water, with the chemicals in the air. Okay? Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. You're getting exposed for the disease you are. Okay? The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and the shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. For the violence of Lebanon, shame shall cover thee. All right? And again, Lebanon, that's where the, you know, Solomon got the wood to build the, you know, the temple. That was one of the main places he went to get wood to build the temple. So it's symbolic of the elect, and it's also symbolic of what he's done to the earth. Violence. Okay? And the spoil of beast, which made them afraid because of men's blood, and the violence of the land and of the city, all right, and of all that dwelleth therein. What profited the graven image, that the making thereof have graven it, in the molten image, in the teacher of lies? And this all goes back to idol worship. Everything that they're doing all goes back to idol worship. So this is the son of perdition. All right. The prophecy that Apostle Tahar was the son of perdition and was going to, you know, be dead by yesterday, that didn't come to pass. So this is the true son of perdition right here. Okay. These men, these people. Okay. But this is also one I'm going to check out. And hopefully you all were edified. On to the next.